Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Polish Dragon PI Show. Before we get started with another adventure of Sam Spade, I would like to let you know that Amazon has running some of my books at a discount. Well, the Polish Dragon series, the good book, is on sale minus 16%. Midnight Cranes has 45% off. The Lineage Sword, 53% off. The Death of a Bully, 53% off. And The Disappearance of Marty McCrory has 46% off of these books. So if you're interested in getting them at a reduced rate, go to Amazon and check it out. My latest book, The Murder at Manzanar, has been nominated for a Firebird Book Award in 3 different categories: mystery, novella, young adult fiction. So wish me luck on those, and without further ado, let's get started with another episode of Sam Spade, the Dry Gulch Caper. And here we go.
The National Broadcasting Company presents The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sam Spade Detective Agency?
You, sweetheart, bounce along Spade.
Bounce along Spade.
The only cowpoke in the West with so much daylight between him and his saddle, the California Limited can pass under without ever slackening speed.
Sam!
I'm rough and I'm tough and I'm ready, gal. I'll outshoot, outride, and outcourt any man in boots. Or barefooted either, as a matter of fact. Choose your weapon.
What's come over you? What have you done?
Where the air is warm and the women are warmer, if in the end comes swift and sudden.
Oh?
I took Horace Greeley's advice, sweetheart. I went west.
West? But Sam, I'll be all ready.
Keep your reins tight, gal. I calculate to bowleg my way through the door, garbed in my 12-gallon hat, my buckskin shirt, my worn Levi's, and my twin 6-guns with extra-large hammers to dictate my report on the Dry Gulch Caper. Or they went that away. For NBC, William Spear, radio's outstanding producer, director of mystery and crime drama, brings you the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade. Effie? Come here, Prairie Flower. Are you the new schoolmarm?
Oh! What's happened to you, Sam? You're so strong, so real.
For real? Not only that, so beat, Effie. So absolutely beat.
Oh, is there anything I can get you?
Not unless you have an in at the local cushion factory. Shall we, sweet? I'd like to get it over with.
Oh, so you mean it gives you a headache just to think of it?
It's not my head that I was referring to. You ready, little partner?
Ready, please?
Date, fill it in to Lieutenant R.C. Halliday, robbery detail, San Francisco Police Department City. From Samuel Spade, license number 137596. Subject, a Wild West caper, or Hopalong Cassidy can have it. Dear Halliday, I should say at this very instant, I should be cramming for my entrance exams to the mission home for saddle sore private detectives. But knowing how this report will tidy up your files, I should proceed in a standing position. It was late yesterday afternoon when, for me, the bells tolled. That was when I first heard the pretty voice of the girl of the Golden West.
Mrs. Spade, you are Sam Spade, the detective.
7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Who?
Mrs. Spade, I'm telling about my grandfather. He's... you don't even know who I am, do you?
I cannot tell a lie. I don't, ma'am.
My name's Penny Brewster, and I really hope I can tell you the story before Grandfather comes to phone.
The story?
Yes, you see. Oh, here it comes. Play along with it, Mr. Spade, please. And remember, you're not Sam Spade, the detective. You're Marshal Spade of the California Rangers.
Marshal? Wait a minute,
You must look the part.
In a blue serge suit?
You'll think of something, I know you will. I've heard private detectives are terribly clever.
Well, Marshal Spade? That's right.
Buck Brewster talking.
Yeah?
Penny says you're the straightest shooting focus and Spilly the kid. T-Rex?
Huh? Oh, sure. T-Rex, Buck. T-Rex.
Things you and the horse fly along like you was one. T-Rex?
Buck, at one time or another, I've taken a flyer on every nag in the game. Trotters included.
Then you're my man, Marshal. Get up here fast. The shooting's liable to start any minute.
we have a bad connection on this phone. I thought you said the shooting's liable to start.
I ain't got no time to waste on useless palaver, Spade. Just get up here. I'll paint the whole picture when I see you.
Get up where? Where are you?
Why, in Dry Gulch. Where else would I be?
Well, where is Dry Gulch?
take the main trail north out of town till you spot the Oak Circle. Then bear right.
Yeah?
I'll go down now and leave a change amount to the circle.
How far would you say this circle is from San Fran?
Oh, about a half day's hard ride, I reckon.
Half a day's out. Look, Buck, I don't think I better. I'm out of condition, you know. I haven't been riding lately.
Oh, sure, that ain't what my purdy granddaughter tells me.
Purdy, eh? Half a day's hard ride. About 20 miles, huh? I don't remember any town along there.
Don't worry about the town, Marshal. It's here. Just get in your saddle and get to Lopen.
You're sure there's a town there?
Please, I ain't got time to argue geography with you. Now listen. Them $50 gold pieces clinking together, and I got a whole summer full of them. Are you coming up here?
Buck, tell them to take to the high hills. Sam Spade rides again. I made 2 stops before I hailed a cab and told the saddle driver to proceed north on the main trail out of town. At a corner newsstand where I riffled through a Western Story magazine to determine what the saddle and sagebrush set is wearing this season, and at the Hitch and Post costume shop where I donned what I thought was a rather colorful facsimile of the same. We drove out 101 at a smooth 55 for almost half an hour before I spotted a twisted clump of trees, complete with horse. As we reared to a halt, the driver looked back at me and shook his head.
I'm taking down your description, Buster, just in case they black 10-gallon hat, purple silk shirt, orange Angora chest. Boy, I've seen everything now.
You obviously aren't an Esquire man. Now, this wardrobe was personally endorsed by Mr. P.
Yeah.
You sure you want to get out here, Buster? At this very spot, Buster.
But there ain't nothing here, but nothing.
Wrong, my good man. For you, there is this. For me, yonder steed and the dusty trail on your right. Listen, journey back to the fort and keep an eye out for you for the Indians.
A fruitcake. I've been hauling a fruitcake.
We drove off, and I staggered on the sides of my ankles toward the horse, the mount the Buck had left for me. Now, this ornery critter took one look at my costume, and as I swung up into the saddle, he shuddered, then closed his eyes, and zowie! Hey, wait for me, horse! Hey, horse! Horse! It was approximately 7 miles later, and I was beginning to feel better because I was paralyzed from the waist down, that we passed past a sign that read, Dry Gulch City Limits, beware of flying lead. And then came Dry Gulch Caper, ramshackle buildings lined its solitary, dusty streets, roofs staggered, walls leaning crazily inward. There wasn't a human being in sight. Dry Gulch was a ghost town. We crept past the Golden Spur Cafe, Whitey's Tonsorial Parlor, the Lone Ace Gambling Casino, and Gherkin's Saddle and Harness Shop, all deserted, before my horse plowed to a halt in front of the Red Dog Saloon. I dismounted and hobbled in. Inside, the Red Dog was a fighter's paradise. Cobwebs covered everything. A Jesse James wanted poster tacked on a wall. An 1835 calendar bearing a picture of Sam Houston. Even a bottle of red eye standing on the bar. I was washing the trail dust out of my throat when a familiar object on a shelf behind the bar caught my attention. I shoved the bottle hastily away from me and rapidly blinked my eyes. But what I'd seen was still there. A brand new oak case television set. And then somebody shoved another familiar object right into my ribs.
For your sake, I hope you're Marshal Spade.
The same, and also for my sake, I hope you don't have a nervous trigger finger.
Mighty careless, Marshal, drinking with your back to the door. Let me look you over. Turn around. Up below.
All right, Buck. There we are.
Well, why in tarnation are you rigged out like that?
Well, perhaps these aren't my best colors, but, how about the shooting you spoke of? What's the trouble, Buck?
Oh, it's that low-down snake Blackie Tolliver, Marshal.
Blackie Tolliver?
Oh, you must have heard of Blackie. Here, this is in here.
Blackie Tolliver, sought for the robbery of the Cattlemen's National Bank, Oklahoma City, June 25th, 1894. Rough, ornery cayuse.
Cayuse. But, we crossed trails first when he pulled that job. Me being a sheriff in '94, it was up to me to chase him down. But he wrangled himself a pardon, slippery snake.
And then?
Well, 4 years later, I hit Tombstone, all time to settle down. Even had little family all picked out, but it never happened.
What did?
Oh, that creeping, crawling Blackie Tolliver sweet talked her into leaving town with him.
Your girl ran off with Blackie?
To get whipped in Dawson City. Then he stranded her there, sick and broke. I burned the letter getting to her when I heard. But I was too late.
Oh, I'm sorry, Buck, but that's a long time ago.
Well, I vowed I'd get that sidewinder. I chased him all over the West, but I still couldn't catch him. Then 3 days ago, I seen him again.
Here in Dry Gulch?
No, on TV.
What?
Yeah, some program was telecasting about a new bank opening in Frisco. And there big as life was Blackie right on the TV.
You could recognize him on television? Amazing.
And you know what he was doing there, Marshal?
What?
Blackie Tolliver, who has held up more banks than I've got fingers and toes, was the guard in that bank.
You mean he pulled a switch, huh? Trailing with the law now.
Quick as the TV was finished, I read him a letter. I challenged him to a shootout here in Dry Gulch, where no one could interfere. And as soon as he shows up, I'm going to cut him down.
Well, what makes you think he'll show?
Well, 2 of his gang was skulking around yesterday looking to lay out for him.
You mean 2 of his gang? How do you figure that?
Well, simple. I sent him that letter when Nene shows up. The first humans to set foot in Dry Gulch in 10 years. Yes, sir. Now, if Blackie's got a gang, I might need some help, see? That's where you come in. If things get too rough, you're going to step in and swing the tide.
Me? Well, I haven't swung a tide in years.
Penny! Penny!
A girl now entered the Red Dog. A girl, and I do not use the term loosely. Golden hair framed a face that belonged nowhere but on a ranch romantic cover. And her plaid shirt and jeans encased the sort of figure that lonely cowpokes dream of. The sort of figure, as a matter of fact, that lonely private detectives dream of, too.
Now, this is my granddaughter, Penny, Marshal. Pretty as a new saddle, ain't she?
Howdy, Marshal. I've heard a lot about you.
So I've heard.
Show the Marshal where he'll bed down, honey, and keep your eyes open, Spade. Them varmints are liable to strike any minute. Well, you can run along now.
Okay, Buck, you'll be here?
Well, I wouldn't be nowhere else for the next half hour. Not with Sagebrush Sandy coming on.
Sagebrush Sandy?
Yes, sir. The best thing that ever happened to TV. The greatest stick jockey besides the Pecos River. Now, if I can just find him.
Now we remove the tape from the oven.
Oh.
Oh, dear, what a mess. Well, for a quick chopstick, Mr. Blake.
Dad rather cooking next spurt. Oh, Dixieland. That's Dixieland. Musical murder, that's what it is.
And San Francisco police have no clue to the whereabouts of 2 armed gunmen who late this afternoon forced the guard to open the doors of the Park State Bank and escaped with a suitcase full of currency.
Dixieland, bank robbers. They're in tarnation Sagebrush Sandy. And just listen to that record he's just singing. Now, that's real music. Let's
I think it's Sagebrush Sandy's program doesn't do anything for you.
Well, let's say the fresh air does more.
I'm glad you stayed, Mr. Spade. For a minute, I was afraid you were leaving Dry Gulch.
Where were you?
Outside the window, you were trying to read.
You mean you heard all the things Buck said then?
We came in here.
Oh.
This is the Overland Hotel.
You're not worried about your grandfather?
Oh, no, Mr. Spade, there's nothing wrong with him. He's been like this ever since I can remember.
Oh?
Well, here you are. Not the Fairmount, exactly.
Oh, charming, charming. About Buck.
Grandfather's a very old man who's trying desperately to live in the past. That's why he bought Dry Gulch.
You mean he bought the whole town?
Lock, stock, and barrel. It was, well, a dream he'd had for years come true. A chance to live out his life in the sort of surroundings he loved.
And Blackie Tolliver, the demon bank robber who came back on television the other day.
I've heard about Blackie Tolliver since I was so high. The showdown with Blackie is all Grandfather talks about. And when it doesn't happen, there'll be no living with him. Unless you can be convinced Blackie was just too scared to face him.
And I'm to convince him? Why me?
Who could convince him easier than Marshal Spade of the California Rangers talking to him man to man?
Oh, I see. Well, look, I can't take his money for
Please,
this.
Rangers, for tonight. Tomorrow you can leave and forget the whole thing. You will help me. Won't you, Sam?
face was only inches from mine and getting closer every second when the silence of Dry Gulch was shattered by shouts and the sound of pounding feet. I crossed the room and peered out into the twilight. A man was running from the Red Gulch saloon toward the hotel, but nowhere near fast enough. All four of the shots that lanced out from the Red Dog caught him directly under my window. He staggered drunkenly and then fell face up in the street. As I looked down at him, two thoughts were inescapable. A, his was the same face Buck had shown me on the poster, so there was that Blackie Tolliver. And B, whatever game Tony's grandfather was playing right now was apparently one he was playing for keeps. You're listening to the weekly adventure of radio's most famous detective, Sam Spade. Have you met our new baby yet? I mean, NBC's new baby, The Big Show. And what a baby it is. The biggest baby you ever heard, and he's not crying either. Why should he cry with stars like Tallulah Bankhead, Jimmy Durante, Kristen Webb, Mindy Carson, Meredith Wilson, and a host of others to make him radio's greatest spectacle ever? This Sunday and every Sunday, meet The Big Show, an hour and a half of comedy, music, and drama. All this and Tallulah, too. No wonder it's The Big Show. And Sunday evening over most of these NBC stations also means Theater Guild on the air. Now back to the Dry Gulch Caper, or They Went That Away. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade. Blackie Tolliver was still alive but unconscious when Penny and I reached him moments later. His forced breathing was the only sound to be heard along Dry Gulch's central street. Wherever Buck had gone after the shooting, whatever he was doing, he was quiet as a mouse. I examined Blackie as best I could in the dusty light. He was wearing a Park State Bank guard uniform, and it was soaked with red. He needed medical attention fast.
You guys, Sam, they call it murder, don't they?
Let's not talk about that now.
Don't they?
What else could they call it? Blackie didn't have a prayer. He isn't even carrying a gun.
Sam started it. Oh, Sam, what are we going to do?
Right now, we're going to get Blackie to a hospital. That means we'll need horses and some help.
There's no one to help us.
Well, there's Buck. You saddle horses, I'll find him.
If we take him to a hospital, it's still night, darling. What will we gain? If we didn't, no one would ever know that Grandfather...
Penny.
I'll saddle the horses. Sam, please don't hurt me for what I was thinking.
I carried Blackie to the hotel porch and did what I could to make him comfortable. And I started looking for Buck. Buck's TV set was still on when I reached the Red Dog, but it was playing to a dark, empty house. I turned away to continue my search, and then I stopped. The music tearing at my eardrums was pure Dixieland. Musical murder, as Buck called it. I checked my watch. 6:23. Only 23 minutes since Penny and I left the saloon. That meant Spade-Fresh Sandy still had 7 minutes to go. I could see Buck taking a powder after dropping Blackie, but I couldn't see him forsaking his beloved Sandy for Dixieland before he did it. I was wondering who had switched channels when I saw what I'd missed before. A sliver of light shining under a door at the back of the room. I cat-footed my way across the Red Dog and had almost reached the door when, for the second time since my arrival in Dry Gulch, I felt a gun barrel pressed against my spine. Don't stop, Snoop. Just keep moving right on through the door. I'm sorry, sir. I can hardly hear you with that music. All right, so we can turn it off, the music. Thank you. Thank you. Now? Now move. Well, you insist, but I can only stay a moment.
Blackie, what happened? I thought the population of this town was but one.
So did I. I got rid of the whole town, but on the way back I ran into this gee. Apparently the census takers overlooking him.
It only proves you can believe no man. We are given positive assurance the place is deserted, yet traffic suddenly becomes unbearable.
Well, perhaps I was being over-friendly, gentlemen. We Westerners get carried away now and then. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Oh, that's no... Yes, friend. You have just arrived.
Really, boys? It's far past my usual bedtime.
So you sleep in tomorrow. Sit down. Leave us chat.
There were several things in that candlelit back room I could have chatted about. I could have told Al Perino, short, swarthy, and one of the best-known bank boys in the business, that I'd recognize him as soon as his friend herded me through the door. Or perhaps mention the currency stacked high on the table before him, each packet held together by a paper binder with the words Park State Bank of San Francisco stamped very neatly on it.
Now, suppose you tell us about what you're snooping around for.
Gentlemen, this is all a grievous misunderstanding. I merely happened by to remind you of the annual rodeo to be held at Devil's Elbow this coming Saturday.
An innocent, friendly gesture. Tell us more.
A most colorful event, the rodeo. Bronco busting, covered wagon races, wild steer roping, and anyone can enter. Now, perhaps you would be interested?
Me? Why, I haven't roped a wild steer in almost a fortnight.
Your friend, perhaps?
Heaven alone knows how long it's been since I roped a steer. I busted a bronco.
Well, it was just a thought.
Why? Hold it. Please. I'm most unhappy that we misjudged you, friend.
Oh, it's nothing. Every call can't be a happy one.
You already make me feel worse. I feel we owe you something for at least thinking of us. Don't you, Coffee?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
I couldn't think of it. I'll just run along.
No, our minds are made up. Give it on, Coffee.
I go for him as the words left his mouth because I knew what they intended to give me. Except I only got in one punch because Corky knew what Al was going to say before he said it. That gave him a slight advantage, and it was all he needed. When I came out of it, I was lying in total darkness, and I wasn't alone.
Oh, that blasted varmint. You wouldn't like it loose and get my hands on it. Varmint, let me loose.
Just a minute, Buck. I'll give you a hand. There you are. Hey, how'd they get you, Buck?
Oh, I was watching the TV, and I heard a car, and then Blackie and them two that were skulking around yesterday drove up, and they walked right into the Red Dog as if they was in the
Who
stairs.
was carrying the suitcase?
Blackie was. And the others was walking along behind him with their guns drawn, protecting him, so I couldn't get to him. So I sneaked around to the front of the Red Dog, hoping I could surprise him. Well, it was me that got surprised, though.
Well, what happened, Buck?
Well, they was in the back room, and Blackie was hollering about a double cross and a fair cut. I'm got their kind of talk. And then the door busted open, and he come tearing out across the room with that little critter right behind him.
That'd be Al Torino. He's the one who got Blackie.
You what?
Got Blackie.
You mean that wall-eyed critter's been messing around my range?
Remember we heard on TV about the Park State Bank being knocked over? These are the boys who did it.
Well, I'll be your... And Blackie was the hostage that announcer fellow was talking about. He was the bank guard, and they took him.
No, Blackie was in it too, the inside man. He had to be.
You think Blackie opened them doors for him without any persuasion, eh?
I'll give you odds on it, Buck. And they didn't just happen to pick Dry Gulch as their hideout either. Blackie must have suggested it after you wrote and told him you were up here all along. You didn't know it, but you were handing him a perfect hideout.
Yes, but why would one of his own gang drop Blackie?
Torino and the other one apparently figured a lot of money for 3 would be even more for 2.
Yeah, Hey, listen to that now. Them varmints are fixing to pull out. Come on, let's go get them.
I'm right with you, Buck.
Hey, hold up! Hold up, you bushwhacking dudes! Hey! Oh, dad rat, it's for too late, Marshal. There they go, tearing down the back road.
Is there any way we can cut across country and head them off?
Oh, no, not a foot we can, and by the time we saddle up some ponies, they'll be
It
gone.
pains me to even mention this, Buck, but I sent Penny to do just that some time ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, what are we waiting for?
We galloped up draws, down canyons, through streams, over cliffs, and across deserts. And the only place on me that felt good was my head, where Corky had sacked me. And finally, Buck, riding ahead of me, pulled his pony to a halt and waited for me to catch up. Somehow I slid south off my horse's neck and was back in the saddle again when I drew abreast of him.
Well, we ain't gonna have to trap them dudes after all, Marshal.
Huh?
No, Cripple Creek done it first.
Cripple Creek.
The driest creek in the west. It crosses the road up ahead of Peace. And right now, them critters are sitting hard deep in sand. Come on, let's start riding circle.
Riding circle?
Indian style.
Oh.
Round and round the car till we pick 'em off.
Oh, no, Buck, we're going to handle this my way, and it won't be on horseback.
Huh. What fancy plan have you got?
None. It's very simple. We leave the horses right here. You get as close to them as you can along the road, and I'll circle around behind them. Now, don't show yourself until I go after them. You got it?
Well, all right. But I still think circling's better.
I left him there and dodged from bush to boulder to tree, working my way to a position behind Al Torino and Corky. I had just reached a rock formation that overlooked the road right over their car and took my 38 out of its hiding place beneath the purple silk skirt when I realized that Buck wasn't going to do things anyway but his own.
All right, you city-side home cats, make your play!
Well, Ralph.
head lies clear, quite slow, slightly behind Sereno and his henchman. His hands were an indistinct blur. Sereno spun around, digging for his left arm. He was fast, but it's almost impossible to outdraw a man who uses a breakaway shoulder holster. I was on my feet and running toward the car when Buck staggered backward, a look of surprise on his face, and then crumpled to the ground. I fired as I ran, and Corky Saddle's face was still falling forwards, and Al Torino caught the last of my bullets and followed him down. I reached Buck and lifted him into a sitting position. His eyes were bewildered as he looked up on me.
You got me, Marshal.
Easy, Buck. Now let's have a look. There we are. Now, Buck, you were lucky. Just grazed the rib.
You got me, Marshal. I guess I better hang up my shooting irons and just concentrate on sending Penny.
You know, Buck, I've been wondering how you wound up with a granddaughter anyway. If the filly Blackie ran off with meant so much to you, how could you
marry up with somebody else?
Yeah.
Oh, shucks, Marshal. Penny's grandma was twice the woman that first one was. Best of the best.
Well, then how come you held a grudge against Blackie all those years and wanted to shoot it out with him?
Oh, I didn't really, but that is all. A man's got to have a little excitement in his life, don't he?
End of report.
Sam. What a fantastic story.
It is that, F, it is that, but go type it up anyhow.
Are you sure you aren't making up the whole thing?
For the doubting Thomases, I have a matched set of saddle scars to prove the truth of each and every statement.
Oh, I'll take your word for it. I'll type it up right away.
3 chimes mean good times on NBC. There's no cover charge at Duffy's Tavern. Just keep your dial tuned to NBC later as Archie and his delightful friends cook up another mad and merry session at that remarkable restaurant, Duffy's Tavern. This Sunday, The Big Show comes your way again on NBC, the best in comedy, music, and drama, with unpredictable Tallulah as MC, Jimmy Durante, Clifton Webb, and many more. No questions?
Well, one, if you don't mind.
Ask, ask.
Dorothy died, I suppose.
Indeed not. She'll be up and in fine fettle by the time his trial rolls around.
But we done Dorothy across the desert and forgot all about him. Who took care of him?
The doctor, who was?
The doctor?
Yeah.
What doctor and a doctor?
Oh, besides forgetting Blackie, I also forgot there was a phone in Dry Gulch. That's how Penny contacted me in the first place, remember?
And she called the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
This was funny.
Mm-hmm.
You, sort of liked her, didn't you, Sam?
Oh, she was all right in a beautiful, gorgeous sort of way.
Oh, I see.
We never did get to sit down and talk things over, Ass. In fact, I never got to sit down. I still haven't.
Poor Sam. It's like Mother says, we all have methods that we're not accustomed to use. And then when we use them, they
do indeed, yes.
The things you have to do to make both ends meet.
Oh, shut up. Come here.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
That ends another episode of the Adventures of Sam Spade. I hope you're enjoying this trip to a bygone area when radio was the only form of entertainment. And please let me remind you that the Polish Dragon PI books are on sale at Amazon. The Good Book is 16% off. Midnight Cranes is 45% off. The Lineage Sword, 53%. Death of a Bully, 53%. And The Disappearance of Marty McCrory, 46% off the sale of the paperback books. So join us again next time when we have another episode of the Adventures of Sam Spade. Thank you so very much, and we'll see you next time.